Then the next words are nirmamo nirahankaraha. So who are the bhaktas that are very dear to Ishwara? Those who are nirmamo, free from me, mine, me, mine, free from attachment and free from egotism. So generally in true bhaktas, you will find that they are self-effacing. They are humble. They are easy to be with. They are not swollen up because they are God's special people. No. Why? Because they have let go of their proprietorship, their sense of identification with the body and its body's opportunities and body's houses and body's cars and body's contacts. None of that. So their egotism, their sense of me, mine, and egotism is less. They are more genuinely humble, not pretentiously humble. They are genuinely like, who am I? Ishwara is flowing through me. That is what they have, this feeling. And when you have that feeling, you can't really be true. It's a very softening feeling, really. And then the next words are Sama Dukkha Sukha Kshami. Sama means they are balanced, they are poised in suffering. Dukkha is suffering, and they are similarly poised in happiness. Why is that? Because they have realized that their boat is in the hands of Ishwara, that great power, higher principle. So whatever comes their way in a natural way, if it is sukha, it must be meant to come to me at this time. If it is dukkha, it's meant to come to me. So they are not, if happiness comes, oh wow, no. Similar, not extremely, like some people get insane with happiness and some people lose their mind with sorrow. They are able to come back. This is a sign of, this is how you practice bhakti. But I come back. I was becoming overly giddy with happiness. Look what I did, what I achieved, what happened. Okay, I'm sitting at your feet again. This is all you, Ishwara. Oh, I was blaming everything and I was so unhappy because of the sorrows that came. Now I just am calming down at your feet, Ishwara. This is another way of doing bhakti. And those who are able to do that, Ishwara pays attention. And then the next one, the next words that we come across is kshami. Kshami means from kshama means forgiving. Why are we able to forgive? Why are we able to forgive? Forgiveness is important teaching in many religions. But in the Vedic tradition, in Bhakti Yoga, forgiveness is important because if we do not forgive, then this will feed the ego. If there are people in our life who've done unforgivable things, and it has happened in Ishwara's order, then probably from a karmic perspective, we were supposed to go through this suffering and we've been purified through it. So this is not bypassing the suffering. And you may again put an agreement, put a clause, do a separation, but can you forgive the person for their stupidness, foolishness, delusion, egotism? Yeah, yes. And leave the task of punishing the wrongdoers to Ishvara. Santoshi. One becomes content through bhakti because one becomes content not by increasing one's possessions, but by decreasing our wants, our desires. So when one has Ishwara more and more in them, they don't necessarily need more and more things to fill the hole. Ishvara is that sense of self and divine. This is the real spiritual work. You really feel whole without really bringing anything home from the mall. In fact, you may give away some of your nice things and still feel whole. And then Krishna says, so you are santushta satatam, ever santusht. And you are these bhaktas, Krishna says, I call them yogis. These are not ordinary people who are attending religious congregations, which is not anyway less. But these are yogi. These are on the yogic path. Why are they yogi? Because they are dhrida nishchaya. Through their dedication, they are not only dedicating me some items on my altar, but they are dedicating their ego. But when you choose to forgive, when you choose to be a friend and be compassionate to all, then what are you doing? You are really surrendering your mind and your intellect, and therefore you are becoming a yogi. You are a yogi because yogis work on refining their mind and having self-realization in the mind. As a result, they are firm in conviction. They are self-controlled. That's another word that he has used. They have mastered their senses. They are not running here and there. They are firm in their conviction. And how is this firmness coming? Through constant exposure to the knowledge of scriptures, Shastra, and Guru, Acharya, teacher. So they are having constant exposure. As a result, they are not budging from their desire that bhakti is more important than being upset forever. Bhakti is more important than worrying and controlling things. Bhakti is more important than judging and being angry forever. And if we've been like that, we can slowly bring in bhakti. When we bring in bhakti, then even if we draw boundaries, even if we draw clarity, it comes from a heartful place, not from a bitter position in which the ego has put a pin. And there lies the difference. So this verse is another verse which is very, very important. So let's look at this. Let's make a list. Advaita, free from malice. You just write the English part if you're not clear about the Sanskrit. So free from malice. I have to be free from malice. This is your agenda. Sarvabhutanam, towards all living beings, not just like towards this set of people. You really have to extend your freedom from malice towards those who hold malice for you. You are the yogi. You have to make that effort. Okay? Change it internally. You have to extend Maitri, friendship, and Karuna, compassion. What do you have to do with these people? Instead of malice, you have to extend the friendship. So it doesn't have to be the kind of friends who go to lunch together, but this is the friendship of humanity, a friendly and compassion towards them from your shared humanity. So this is top items on your list. And then niramama, being free from attachments and possessions. And nir-ahankara, if people are grabbing for things, you should be the first to say, take it. Leave it. Take it. So, nirmama, freed from attachments and possessions, and nir-ahankaraha, free from egoism. What is egoism? Me, mine, I. A lot of I statements, me statements, my statements. Sometimes if I'm talking to Ishwara and I'm like, oh, I become silent. Okay. Just my ego talk. Silence is more dignified than all that I. What I is there? What I? What ridiculous is this I? Become silent. Go into a wordless space. And then oneness emerges. So this I, me, mine, these are big obstacles on our path. Okay, at least in the beginning, right? And later you don't like it that much. So it's a we in that sense. Then sama, equipoise in sukha, happiness, and dukkha. So when you experience a lot of happiness, try and remember Ishwara and come back to balance. When you remember a lot of sorrow, try and remember Ishwara and come back to balance. So you stay in the middle, receiving these as prasad or offerings from Ishwara. So your ego does not have any reason to get over happy and over tragic. Yatatma, self-controlled. Yatatma, self-controlled. Hence you are steadfast in your resolve. So you are a yogi now. Think of that. I'm not just a bhakta, I'm a yogi. And I'm dedicating my mind, my intellect, my ego to Ishvara. So this is, and Ishvara says, I become rather pleased by these devotees who do this kind of work. Now let's go to verse 15 in the same chapter. And in a similar vein, Ishwara, Bhagavan says, Bhagavan Uvacha, Yasman no dvichate loko, loka no dvichate jayaha, harsha marsha bhayot begair, mukto yasa chame priyaha. What is Bhagavan saying? These bhaktas or these special devotees of mine, how do they live out their life on earth while they seek moksha through bhakti, karma, jnana, yoga? Really. So their footprint is somewhat soft. Now this shloka has two teachings. They are not a source of annoyance to anyone, and this we all check off as spiritual people. Yeah, we don't go and pinprick people or hurt people or judge people or temper with their personal life or say things that disturb them. No, we're very good. We're good to go. But there is a second part to it which says, and in turn are not agitated by anyone. This is the part we have to work, where it's not about bypassing, but we really turn to Ishvara in others misbehaving, others acting out. We have to do what we have to do, but we are not doing it from an inner agitation. We become, so then the next part of the verse is, we become equal because we are neither agitating nor others are agitating. So we are human, but our egos are neither agitating nor agitatable. So we are more equipoised, you can say, more equipoised in pleasure and pain, suffering and joy. And as a result, this verse says we are free from fear and anxiety. And then very generously, Krishna says, such devotees of mine are very dear to me. What does that mean? Now, as such, our self is very, very pure. It's just that it's covered with sediments of raga, dvesha, attachments, moha, delusions. So if you were to remove these impurities, we would be shining as bright as this, as Ishwara. So all these qualities are within us. But then as we keep listening to satsang, keep thinking about our relationship with Ishwara, something happens. That those sediments start falling away. And we notice that our beauty, our light-filled qualities are coming out. So what does that mean? That means our ego is softening and our true, beautiful, pure self is emerging. Just by listening about Ishvara is enough. That is why this satsang is very important to you, whether you catch it in person or online or as a recording. But continued listening is very important because through the years, these words enter and then they do like a car wash. They do a washing of our mind, our chitta. And a transformation takes place. So it's a technique. It's a well-known technique. And I'm sure when I talk to you in a little bit, you'll tell me that you are feeling that. You are feeling more immune to the slings and arrows of the world and more anchored in something non-tangible, which is an experience of bhakti or devotion. It has softened the heart. It has melted out the impurities. It has made you more gentle in the dealings with others, because you see God in them too. You see Ishvara everywhere. Hence, many good people, many noble people do not agitate others. But it is the saints, it is the devotees, it is the yogis who are also not agitated as much by others. So we have to develop both these. We have to bring bhakti even where others are bothering us. We have to bring forward our compassionate, friendly attitude towards those who have an inimical behavior towards us. So in material world, it's okay, Hammurabi's code, eye for eye, nose for nose. But in spiritual language, whether you go to Christianity, Judaism, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, the whole point of spirituality is to go beyond that level of thinking and to see what can we offer from a higher perspective. And then, so one is not agitated by anyone. The second point Ishwara said was equal in pleasure and pain. Why? Because now we become more steadfast through the knowledge that we are cultivating by Guru and Acharya, that look here, life will keep changing. But just like the seasons change, just like the light changes in a 24-hour period, sorrow and joy, sorrow and joy, sorrow and joy, good weather, bad weather, all this will keep happening in life. There is inexhaustible change happening, but there is an inexhaustible inner stillness, divine stillness that I have the option to cultivate.